Good morning. Trying to make sure I'm turned on here with my remote. I do have our Zoom going just so that you know, because we do have some of our members that cannot necessarily meet in person. So we do record it and actually have the meeting via Zoom in case they have questions or anything that they would like to know. And so just want you to be aware that that is happening. But good morning. Good morning. It's our first CPOC meeting. We did kind of have one to kind of do training. At the beginning of the year, as we were working to set things up as a staff, but this is actually our first official CPOC meeting, and we're going to go through a lot of information. We have a lot to cover, and so just want to kind of start off with our agenda so that you will know exactly what we are covering today. And I'm marking the computer over here as well as both computers, so just kind of be patient with me a little bit. First, we're going to have an icebreaker because that was one thing from a needs assessment a couple of years ago that came about was our building is really big. And because of that, first and second grade may do a lot together, and pre-K and K don't always do as much together with first and second grade. So that was one thing that they said was, hey, we'd like to have some more time to get to know one another from across the building. So because of that, icebreakers came about into our time together as CPOC. Plus, it also gives us a chance to get to know some of our community members that join us, also business reps, also district reps and parents that are here. And we're going to do that. We're going to go through some introductions so that you know who is on our committee this year. Because we do have to have certain membership for our committee. And so we're going to go through that and introduce the people that are here, and then also just let you know the names of those that maybe couldn't be here. That's one reason, again, we record this so that we can send it out to any members that can't be here. We're also going to go through celebrations. We're going to talk about the purpose of CPOC, as well as the meeting objective for all our meeting today. And it's normally the same one throughout the year. We're also going to look at our past needs assessment that we did in May, as well as our campus improvement plan. We're going to talk about some campus items, specifically title funds and our family parents engagement policy. We're going to look at the calendar, and then you're going to have an opportunity to give any input and feedback at the end. So that's a lot of information to cover in a little amount of time. So we're going to be moving pretty fast today, okay? Which we always do on CPOC Day. I've rushed to get it all in. Okay, so moving forward, this is what you're going to do. And those of you that are business reps or community reps or district reps or parent reps, I'm going to put you with a team, so don't worry about that, okay? And if you're a parent rep, you probably have a child who has a house team, so you can join one of their house team colors. Okay, but I want you to get into your colored house teams for our icebreaker this morning, because that's, again, across grade level so that you can kind of have that time. And as I'm doing that, I'm also going to kind of give the plug this little bit, and I did it this week in announcements. If you've not buddied up with another class on your house team, remember that's something we're encouraging this year across the deal. I know when we had to make changes with staffing, one of the first grade teachers reached out to me and said, well, is there going to be another pre-K class that's on purple? I lost my buddy. And I went, well, let me see what we can do. And I didn't think we were going to back. So I said no at first because I was like, I wasn't sure. And then thankfully, Carolyn Redwood went back to purple. She was thankful to go back to purple. Yeah, back when I texted her, I said, will you go back to purple? She goes, yes. Did I answer too fast? And I said, no, you didn't. So thankfully, because pre-K doesn't mess up lunches when we have special lunch visitor days. It's nor does it mess up partnering and stuff because of the way theirs works. So it worked out. So thank you, Carolyn, for taking one for the team and moving back. I know you were excited to go back to purple though, because you'd already told me you really liked purple. So over orange. Not that she didn't like her orange team. She doesn't like the color orange. So anyway, so we got that going. So what we're going to do is we could have red over here. If we will have orange right here, if we will have blue back here, if we will have yellow over here, if we will have green right here, and then what other color am I missing? And if purple was over here, then so it's red. So purple right over here. So if you will head to your areas, and then I'm going to get you started on that. And parents, if your child is in one of those colors, if you want to join one of them today, if you have two kids, if you're not sure and you know the teacher, we can help you. And then my district people, y'all just choose your favorite color and join in. And any business reps, just join your favorite color. Blue and purple are your team, so which you just choose one this time and another one the next time. You'll choose purple's right over there. The purple house team lead is their purple one is in here. Robbie, can you take lead for your team, please, since Shree's not here this morning? Can you take lead for the purple team since Shree's? Thank you. Okay, so we're probably not going to get through all of these, but this is what you're going to be doing. As a team, one person, and whoever is the team lead, and I know Robbie's taking it for purple team. Most of you, your admin team leader is there, so they will be the lead person. With your yellow, so Sally, you got the lead on that one. And then who's in blue? There's Angie, so Angie's the lead there. She got it. Who? Let's see, orange, so Leanne's there. And then red, Lars there, and Travis is there, so they'll be okay. Okay, so what's going to happen is I'm going to give you one word or like a phrase, and as the team lead, you have to start a sentence with that one thing. So you are going to add like one word to it. Then you're going to go around your circle, and everybody has to add a word to it to make a sentence. Okay? Okay, you got it? Okay, and we're going to share some out, so we may not get through everything, but I am going to call on a team. Okay, are you ready for the first one? Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, your first one, word at a time, is Hoover. You have to make a sentence. You're adding words to it, making a sentence. Okay, we got one that's done. Okay, go show me one. Quick. I guess my green team has a sentence. What's your sentence? Wait, guys, listen. No, just one person can say it, doesn't matter.
Oh, you said Hoover Elementary is the best school ever.
There. Okay. Yes.
Does everybody have to put in a
Yes.
or is it just going to sentence finish?
You need to add the sentence so that everybody gets a chance.
So everybody has to put it
He's still past last. That's going above beyond that. Okay, next word or phrase. Ready? Hey. This year.
Yes.
So be 5. Red team, give me your sentence.
This year. Yes, this year will be the best school year ever and forever.
There you go. This school year will be the best forever and ever. Okay, I'm looking at my time. We're going to do one more. I have more than that planned, but we're going to do one more. Okay, you ready? The word is learning. Learning. And I'd like a team that hasn't shared yet. I have a team that has one. Okay, you ready? Show me 5 to 10. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yellow team chair.
The number one
Learning can
program
be
now with menopause training and nutrition. They need to give you
All right, so give your team a high five as you head back to your seats.
Chalk it up.
All right. As you move back to your seat quickly, if you can get quiet, so we can kind of make introductions. We do have some members of our team. Obviously, parents and business members and community members that are here, just so that you know, we do have to have certain members of our Campus Performance Objective Committee, but at Hoover, even though we do have certain teacher representatives that signed the agenda to take part, we also, though, include everybody as part of our team. because there was so much important information that we talked about in the Campus Performance Objective Committee that affects academics and the success of learning. Because of that, we have included everyone from the get-go because we think it is such important information for all people to take part in. And so because of that, that's the reason you will see more that are here than might be on the sign-in sheets, because we do think it's a valuable thing for all of our teaching staff to take part in. So with that being said, we do have our teaching staff this year, but then also our introductions. We do have Lorda Saran. I believe I saw her coming right back there. She is one of our parents joining in. We also have Christina Jenkins, who's right over here, one of our parents. And so you can see that Lourdes has a first grader, and then Christina has a second grader and a first grader. So she might be with us a little while. She might decide she wants to join us next year too. All right. And then we also have our business reps, and I don't know that I saw either one of them here, but again, that's one reason we record so that we can keep them in the loop of everything that we talk about. Jordan Weeder is one of the pastors at New Life Church. I believe they're transitioning to where he will eventually be the senior pastor, the lead pastor. Right now, he hasn't been, his father has been, but Jordan has been with us a long time because they are actually one of our adoptive partners. And then we have Juan Carlos, who does Texas Shaved Ice Express. Then we also have community members. Miss Kirby's actually right here on our Zoom. And so I haven't seen her, but I see her name. So I know she's here. And then Calandra Billups has actually been on our CPOC for quite a while. She's actually one of our global volunteers that actually comes and mentors. And I have not seen her on this, but I can guarantee you when I send her the link on everything, she will watch it and will get back to me because she does it all the time because she's been with us for several years. Actually, I think since about the pandemic, she's been on our CPOC. So she's been there serving with us for a while. We also have 2 district representatives that are joining us that come in. So we have Christina Getchman, who is not a new face to Hoover because she actually helped open Hoover on our staff. And so she's not a new face. And then we have Danielle Olivia. Did I say it right? Okay. And she is our coordinator for dyslexia and other related services. So she's got a pretty big job. There you go. America's Yes. Okay. So we're making some connections. There you go. So those are our introductions so that you know who is on our committee. And then we are going to get through quickly. First thing on our agenda is we are a campus that celebrates. If you haven't picked that up, if you're new and you haven't picked up on that, you will. But surely, hopefully, Friday, your first, well, we had a Friday, but it was in a classroom the first time with our coffee shop. But last week we did the carts. And so you saw us dancing all around the building. So we are a campus that celebrates because I believe that it's important to celebrate what we do because we do a lot of great things all the time that are impacting kids and families. And so because of that, it is really important that we do celebrate. So first thing I wanted to celebrate was our parent and family events. We did have Home Sweet Hoover last week. And I know that on the night of the event, we had at least 126 parents sign in. And we had more kids than that. So we did have a good turnout that night. But in addition to that, I actually had a parent meeting in the end of August. I believe it's August 28th that I had it. And y'all, I was expecting about 7 or 8 parents, and I ended up with 27 or 28. And so that was really exciting. We do also have today our first volunteer meeting of the year. And so I don't even know how many. I hope I planned for enough. I'm not sure if I did, but I hope I did. Because like I said, with the other one, we were only expecting like 7 or 8 and then ended up with 27 and 28. So, we're excited about that, excited about the way our parents want to be involved. So there's going to be more information coming to you because like specifically, we've got a lot of parents that work, but they want to help. And so we do have brown bags that we're going to be creating for y'all. So y'all do need to be thinking about things that we can even send home for parents to help as well, in addition to the opportunities that they will have to come on campus and help. Okay. Another thing we did is Heroes of the Month. We did those last week, and you guys, it's so cute seeing them walking their capes. And thank you, Katie Ayers, for just taking a picture of just the back of the capes and posting it on social media so that I could grab that too. And then they also helped me with announcements. And so we had our August Heroes of the Month, and those kids are recognized because they're showing RISE. They're showing our matrix, that respect, integrity, safety, effort. And most of the time, they're your kids that probably are doing it all the time. That or you've got a kid that maybe they didn't do it right at first, and then they get to the point that they get it and they learn how to come to school. And so it's just a great way to honor them. And so they do get a sticker that kind of goes on the car, I believe, or like a vinyl decal that they get and different things. And so that's one thing. And they get that privilege one time, to be that the whole month. And so we'll do that all year long. We also know you guys opened our science lab. And so that's super exciting. Thank you, Dee, and the team that's helped you for all the hard work. Second grade's already been in there doing some labs. I know there's been labs happening in the classroom though too. But we also opened it on our Home Sweet Hoover night. And you guys, Dee said that the adults were like big kids in the science lab. They were into it as much as the kids were. And I have great pictures of that. So I'm behind on my marketing job, y'all. Sorry, I'm behind. I'm working on it, but I'll get there. I promise. We also, though, as you can see, we've had a lot of hands-on learning, which we pride ourselves in here at Hoover, because we believe that when kids really get nitty gritty in it, and when they love, they don't even know necessarily that they're learning, but when they get into that, that's one thing that they love. So we've been doing on the letters with shaving cream in pre-K. In addition to that, we had a science lab in Miss Masters class that she did before the science lab was open with magnets that they were working on. So great job with that. Then another thing we can brag about is our art program. And we've seen a lot in over the past years of all that Robbie does with the musical portion of the arts. Our kids have performed at district things. They've also, though, they've done great programs, we know. But we also, though, have had actually art recognition with drawing and their creations. We had, tell me the student's name again. Moses. And this picture right here is Moses in second grade. And Moses' artwork is actually being featured at the state level. So that's extremely exciting. And then also Allie has started something, the Artist of the Week. And she actually pays them for their artwork, y'all, with Rice Cash. It's really pretty cute. But that's important though to understand though that kids can learn that, hey, I love art and there is a possibility that I could make a living at it. And it may look different, but I mean, you think about marketing, those creations are art. It just looks a little different. And so it's really important that we build that up. And so that's something that Allie has going with the Artist of the Week. And then last, I wanted to recognize the team collaboration. We've seen teams coming together, which we've always had teams come together. But like last week, and I wasn't even here for the meeting because I had a principal meeting, but they were talking about grade book. And I get a picture from Melinda that says, hey, an impromptu planning to try to do better with this and collaborating by the second grade team, that they just sat there right after the meeting and kind of troubleshooted and figured something out. And then they were working to get something going with their team. But then also the planning sessions that I've been part of have been very effective. And you guys planning, we talk about all the time that failing to plan is planning to fail. And when we have impactful planning time, that impacts instruction. And so that's such an important piece of everything that we do. And so I wanted to definitely recognize that. So give yourselves a woo woo, because you definitely should be celebrated with all that you do every day. Okay, moving on into more of our meeting, we need to talk about the purpose of our CPOC as well as our objective. And the purpose of the Campus Performance Objective Committee is to work together as a campus with parents, with the community members to bring about performance and success for Hoover. And there is policy, you guys, that does back this committee. And so we do have policy that how we have to follow. That's the reason there are certain members that we have to have. There's also, us being a campus that receives title funding, there's certain documentation that we have to have as well. So basically breaks down to I consult the campus level leader committee, and then we develop and review and put in place the campus improvement plan, the CIP. So that just kind of gives you a graphic of the breakdown of what I just said. Kind of ties together, give you a visual representation. And our meeting objective today is to recognize campus celebrations, which we already did, to acknowledge the purpose of our campus performance objective committee, to examine our Hoover end of year data and our campus improvement plan and needs assessment, to discuss campus items and upcoming calendar events, to capture committee input, feedback, and questions. So again, you'll have that opportunity to do at the end. So again, we've covered a lot already, but we have quite a bit still to cover. All right, moving forward. Last year, we did a campus needs assessment. We did that in May. We actually kind of started in February, if you think about it. We actually started it pretty early because of the fact that the public meeting and the meeting in February happened both in February. And so because of that, we were like, well, let's go ahead and start looking at needs even in February, because we can already start seeing some of the things. We actually started addressing some things last year. But what came out of our end of year, our needs assessment at the end of the year in May was the data that we looked at was our beginning of year and middle of year MAP scores. We didn't have all the end of the year at the time that we met with CPOC. Remember that? So that's the reason we're looking at beginning and middle. And we compared it to our campus targets, to our RIT scores, to reading, math, science, DPMs, to our employee perception survey. We got that and everything was in the 90s, you guys, on that, just so you know. Okay, so that was also shared last year in the FTP SMORE for weeks. But if you want to see it again, I'm happy to share it. Just let me know. But what we came out from for 24-25, our strengths was our collaborative planning, which again was one thing we just celebrated. We also, though, talked about the strength was the instructional support and the flexibility to meet needs, to where you can, again, differentiate, which is one of our focuses this year, that you have that flexibility to be able to do that. Another thing that was one of our strengths was our parent communication. And that even showed up even in our Title I, because there is a survey that they do at the end, your district does when they are looking at campuses that receive Title I funding. And that was one thing that they did talk about. And so it did come out there. However, we came up with 3 specific needs. One was need for MAP training, and we're still working on how to address that because we've already done a lot with MAP training, but that is one thing that we do probably need a little bit more. So Christina, that's one there that I see you writing that down. So I'm appreciative to that because then I can go, Christina, we need help. So anyway, more MAP training. And another thing was more opportunities for input observations from other teachers. Okay, so we're going to talk about how we're going to address that. And then another thing that y'all all said was more planning time. And so, because at the end of the year last year, actually, after we did this first needs assessment and saw this in February, we actually put in some extended planning days for some of the grade levels before we even ended the year last year. And then I know I heard from the ISs how impactful that was. So again, that was a need that we already started addressing, but we did have that going into this year. So as we begin our 25-26 campus improvement plan, the strategy to address need 1 is to designate days that will be allocated during the 25-26 faculty meeting learning times to allow opportunity for MAP training and collaborative. So we have, you don't know this, but I know this, and I'll share it with you if you want to see it. But we actually have a year-long faculty meeting plan. And that's one reason we keep faculty meetings every Thursday so that we know what we can cover and what needs to be done. And if we can give you the gift of time, we do. But at the end of the year, after you've gone through all this, teachers, we actually get hours for the ones that you've attended. So that's actually going towards your 25 hours of professional credit, because the time that you come that isn't on contract time, which is 30 minutes, you get that 0.5 going towards your professional development hours. Okay. So we have planned that in, and so we're going to figure out our resources for MAP, but that's one thing that we will be doing in the future in those learning times. Another thing to address strategy 2 was we have actually added learning walks to the calendar. And so there are learning walks that we have here. I believe we have one towards the end. Do we have one next week? I think. Or I thought we did one at the end of September. I thought we did it at the end of September though, because we've got a monitor visit in October, or maybe it's middle of October. Anyway, we've got them on the calendar. We can't remember when they are right now, but we've got them on the calendar. We also, though, in addition to this, we not just have walks here. Second grade will be going and walking in Joel, and Joel's third grade will be coming and walking at Hooper as well. Okay, so we have that in there. And then also there will be some kind of method to give feedback to each other. We haven't figured that out yet because we haven't gotten to that portion yet, but we've done before a QR code, different things like that. But it'd be great. And our goal is hopefully to be able to get what your personal goal is, what you're working towards, and be able to even give input and feedback on that. Okay. And then we also another to address strategy need 3 is that we did set funding aside in Title I for extended planning days. And so I know that reading the ELAR team in second grade has theirs next week. I know MAP has theirs, I think the first week of October. And so we are working to get those on the calendar to be able to address that need as well. Okay, so that is kind of looking at the campus needs assessment, but then we need to take time to look at our CIP. Okay, the CIP is the campus improvement plan. So if you're not sure about what that stands for, it's the campus improvement plan. As you can see, we do have goals, and these goals are set up by the district. So we have 1 through 4 that are district goals. Okay, then 5 through 7 are set up by the district as well, but they're what we call guardrails. Okay, so you think about when you drive, what keeps you on the road? Guardrails. Okay, so these are guardrails that are not necessarily our goals, but they're the ones that are helping to keep us focused on our goals. To really reach those. Okay, so goal 1 is the percentage of students taking STAR EOC will increase performance at the approaches level from 80 to 90%, and then to meets from 56 to 71, and from masters to 26 to 41 by 2029. Notice that 2029. So does it have to be done this year, that big a jump? No. Okay, and you may think, but we don't do STAR. No, we don't, but we impact STAR. And so that's the reason we have that as one of our goals. That's one of the reasons we're doing learning walks, because that alignment piece, because remember how we kind of talked about it. You've heard of one church, multiple locations. That's kind of like we are as a school. We're one school, multiple locations, multiple campuses. And so because of that, we do impact Joel. And we know that we've already talked about that Joel did receive an overall C rating. Okay, because of that, we are getting lots of extra assistance, which we're grateful for. We're going to get lots of visits, which we're grateful for, because then that helps us hone what we are doing. To be able to support them when they go over there and have that alignment piece. Okay. And we are doing a whole lot of things for alignment. I know, like Red Ribbon Week is very similar. College Week is very similar with dress up days.
We have y'all don't know it yet, but we have a Walktober challenge coming up, and actually we're gonna do it with families too in October. And Joel is doing it with us. And it's a house team competition. What do you know? So you can get kids involved in it, families involved in it. It ties straight into Jennifer's golden ball too that she'll be doing as well for the kids to get practice. So again, it's just something fun, but it gets help, it promotes health, which is a big portion of Bree and Travis's lessons, gets the family together, and then just also gets a little bit of fun competition, which we know is a big thing with our house teams. So there we go. But we are still, because we do impact Joel and what we're doing. So that's the reason that is part of our goals. Then the percentage of students for K through 2 will increase from 90 to 95 by 2029 again for math. And we saw growth with ours. And then by 90% of grades 1 through 3 who did not meet the end of year RIT score, 50% of Amira reading mastery by 2029. So we got to get them up. Okay, a lot. We've been seeing growth on some of ours, but we know we still got kids we need to get up. That's Amira. So again, kids doing Amira is on our CIP. It is a goal board. It's from a goal that is set by the board. So we just need to be aware of that because I know it's hard, but you guys, we got to do it. We got to get it in there. We got to get those minutes in there. And then also the percentage of students in grades K through 2 who are proficient on the math map will increase from 90 to 95% by 2029. And again, we got time because remember, Dr. Henry used to always say when he was here, it's that small incremental growth that we're looking toward. That's the reason the board goals are set to 2029. So we got time, but we got to get there, obviously. And then our guardrails is safe and supportive schools. And that's all about our drills and safety things, just like we practiced yesterday. We actually had district out here yesterday to give us feedback on our drills to see how we did that, to see if they could see things that we didn't see. And so we actually got some really good feedback, but also really good feedback on how well we did with it too. So, and then also human capital, developing and recruiting highly qualified teachers. And so those are things that we follow into that. And the community relationships. And again, that's the things with all stakeholders, including community and parents, and building that relationship. Okay, so those are our goals. Going through real quick, because this is what we covered in May, is our data. As you can tell, this is our map data for our targets. And we only had mid-year. We did have first grade, end of year a little bit. We only had beginning at, I'm trying to see. Yeah, we only had the targeted growth. It's targeted growth in what we saw from fall to winter. Because again, we didn't have all our data. When we ended, we could do better. We'll do that more at our next meeting. Once we get this year's map data in, we'll be able to see kind of comparisons. Kinder had met their targets, and they did meet their target in English and in Spanish. First grade did grow, but they still had 2% to meet the target. And then second grade, again, we surpassed the target. And so that's when in math. Okay, and then when we're looking at reading, I'll kind of give you that because I'm going back and forth here and I'm trying to go fast because we got a lot to cover still. And so you can see again, met all the targets. First grade again grew, but didn't, it was 2%. So again, that's a focus this year, even as we look at things. And then when we look at, that's the reading map. Those growth homestead, it did not change. Okay, there we go. And then there's our RIT summary because again, you're wanting to get the mirror up. And as you can tell, the projected RIT growth was the blue, the observed RIT growth is the red, and the RIT growth that's needed is the yellow. So again, we still needed some growth in in kinder and first, but second again, then got the RIT growth that they had there. So, and you guys, we're finding, I know we've had conversations with Christine and her team too, though, is that we're finding a lot of times with K and 1, sometimes it's not necessarily that they can't do it, it's that they don't always know how to use the assessments correctly. And so those are some things that we are working to address too, even though that didn't come up in our needs assessment. It is feedback we've gotten from you. And I know it's feedback that we shared with Christina and her team as well. Okay. And then looking at, there's the math RIT growth. I'm trying to make sure I get the, and as you can see, same thing that we're looking at with the grade levels. But again, you can still see that there was growth. It's just we had more growth to get there, but there was growth. Okay. And then here is our kindergarten math DPM. As you can see, we are the blue. So we were at 92 in October and 84 in February. So again, we're right there in line though too with our cluster. Cluster has comparable schools like us. And so we're right in line with that. And then first grade math data. So again, we're the blue. So again, right in line with our cluster. And look at the growth. We started at 71. By February in first grade, we were 83. So there was growth there. Awesome job. Okay. And then when we're looking at second grade math, you can tell we're the blue. And you guys, we were at the top of the cluster all year long. So with that, and when we're top of the cluster, you guys were either comparable or higher even than the district a lot of the times. Okay. And then when we look at here is, I don't know why I didn't have a background on this. You guys don't know it did. This is our May math DPN. So we were able to do that. And you can see that actually we beat the district and we beat all those in our cluster too. So that's exciting with math. Okay. And then Trying to go through here. Okay, I passed one there. Okay, and then our science DPMs right here. Again, we're the blue. So we're right up there along with our cluster. We didn't quite hit as far up as we wanted to. With the district, we do know last year was a new curriculum. And those are things that we're addressing. I know Dee and I've talked about science. We've got a meeting today, actually, which I've got multiple meetings today. So we're going to have to figure that out. So, because I got double booked, actually. So anyway, so go through that. Now, to let you know, though, kind of talking about any questions about the data, it's pretty straightforward. Any questions? We've already been through it once. Just wanted to go through it real quick. I'm kind of watching my time. I got to hurry. Okay, so then kind of looking at title funds, remember title funds impact our CIP. We have to do basically the justification of why we need it in our CIP. So everything then when we're looking at the needs in our CIP and how we're going to address it, those strategies, then because of that, we look at the funds and go, okay, how can we do things and supplement? Because that's what title funds is about, is supplementing. How can we supplement what we already have with the additional title funds? We do fund 2 staff positions with our Title I funds, and that's actually the largest majority of our funding is staff positions. But then we also pay for 1 temporary worker. Ms. Carter has been with us for third year. I was going to say 3 years. And so Ms. Carter has already started again. She actually started the week of Labor Day, right? Or the week after that?
Yeah.
The week after that. So she's been with us already where they're working to get groups going. So that we have another reading interventionist because that's what she will help do. Her and Laura and America are doing reading. And then we've got Pam and Alice that are doing math. And so we're really working to have that. And then we also provide professional development opportunities. So resources that we need, we did that. We also have people going through Teacher Leadership Institute with the visioning or with Into Learning. So we do offer all those types of things. We also have field trips. I know, like Lupita looked at me yesterday and she goes, field trip. Robin's asking me about a field trip on the 28th. And I go, 29th. And I go, yeah. And she goes, I don't know anything about it. And I go, you do? She goes, have they? And Lupita looks at me and goes, have they done the paperwork for it for title? And I go, yes. I said, because they didn't want to wait till the last minute like we've done in the past. So yes. And she goes, okay, just needed to know. So we already have 1 field trip, I know, but the other ones are in the works. We have Storyteller already arranged as well. We have Mother Goose coming. We're also getting books for students, which is really important to me always, but we're doing it a little different this year, y'all. I'm so excited. We actually have Drew Brockington, did I get the name right? Coming in January. And so Jen talked with me about him coming and she goes, what could we maybe do it to where they can get an autographed book, a signed copy? And so we decided we're going to do it a little different. They're actually going to get a book in January and then they'll get the book at the end of the year too. Okay. And then also book for students and family nights. And then our parent-family engagement policy is linked in here. That is actually what I did with those parents when I met with them on the 28th of August. We actually sat down and worked together on the parent engagement policy, which talks about what we commit to as a campus. It also covers what we put in the compact about what parents will commit to, what the students can commit to. And so that was actually shared at our campus Title I meeting. But in addition to that, I sent it out via Remind. It will also be in our newsletter from here on out for the rest of the year. So if parents ask about it, that's where you will know that it's at, that they can access it. But it just lays out what our plan for the year is, how parents then also can ask for meetings, how they can do all of those things. So it lays it all out. But we went through it step by step with the parent committee that we had. And then just kind of talked through everything and then got their input on how that would play out here at Hoover. So we do have that here in case you have a question. Also note though, with parent teacher conferences coming up, if you've already had some, that's okay. But just know the parent compact, the family compact that we have will be coming out to you. So if you've already had some, make sure you keep track of those so you can send those home in folders with the kids. Okay, and then our calendar, we've got September, October, and November happenings. These all go out to parents. You guys, you have access to them to also send them to parents with the graphics that I send you every month so that we are communicating. They're also put on social media. They're sent out via Remind. So we do it in a lot of different areas for parents to be able to access what's happening. And as you can just get ready, you guys, October is Shocktober. Okay. There's a lot of dress up days. There's a lot of things happening. But you guys, when we keep kids busy though and engaged though, remember how it even impacts the learning, but it also impacts behavior. And so you know that. So just get ready. There's a lot in October because you guys, we have Rodeo Day coming. If y'all haven't paid attention to the calendar, and the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, we were picked for them to come. So they're coming. So you guys, house teams is kind of off on a week, because we have Rodeo Day on the week. We normally have house teams. So, but like storybook character, lots of things happening in October. So just get ready for it, but it's fun. So just have fun with it. And then last and certainly not least, there is a chance to provide
feedback. Okay. So what this will allow you to do when you click on this and you give feedback, it's going to ask you about anything. You have any ideas for those goals that we talked about? And so I'm going to send this presentation to y'all as well, so that you can go and do it later on. But we do need your feedback, because we're going to take those ideas and strategies that you have on the goals, look at those when we're compiling the CIP. The CIP will not come together. And that's one reason I say we're going to even look at data even more in our next meeting, because we meet again in November, because our CIP doesn't even get sent to the board until I have to have my deadline is October 3rd. Then it has to go to the board and be approved by the board as well. And so that's the reason your input is needed. So I will get this out to you today, as well as a recording of our meeting, in case you go, hey, I don't remember what she said about that, so that you can go back and look it over. But again, your input is needed, and it kind of breaks it down specifically, even feedback on if there's any ideas you have for title funds. I will tell you it's tighter, just because we haven't gotten as much money as we have. Plus, we spend a lot on people. Because remember, people over programs is a big thing with our Title I funds. Okay, real quick, I've got to grab up any questions though. Make sure you do the feedback, y'all. It's important. Your voice matters. It matters. So I will send this out to you today, so that you have it. And then again, you know that you're part of this committee. And if you come up with something or any ideas, come see me and we will have conversations about it. But any needs too that we didn't address in our needs assessment that you see, please see me and we'll talk about those too, because we'll meet again in November. Have a great day, you guys. Thanks for coming and have a great day. I'll share this information with you though, so that you can provide feedback. And if you have any questions or anything, please let me know. Have a great day.